All right, what's going on, guys? Stock Jock here, September 7th. Today's been a really good day for me trading. I'm up $1,917.34. Let's just go over today's trades. It was pretty busy. I thought it was going to be really slow. The day started off, I didn't have a out of the gates trade. There's just nothing that looked good, so I was just kind of waiting around. I saw SGMS that was popping up, had news out, and it was moving early on. And so I started watching the 1 minute chart. And inside this huge move here, here's the 5 minute chart. So inside this move, and when we're inside of a candle like this, I like to look at the 1 minute chart at that point. So we had this run up, run up, run up, run up, and then we finally started getting a little pullback here. So I was going to play the first candle over candle, first candle to make a new high over the previous candle. So this candle right here is the one that's the one I ended up playing. And as soon as it broke, or looked like it was going to break this level, it was going to go long. Well, it also happened to be around the $10 mark. And whole dollars is a great place to play a stock, because usually they run past that whole dollar mark. So I had two things going for me here. I had the whole dollar mark as I entered, and I had the candle's previous high being broken. So I actually went long at $9.99, $99.99, whatever, $10. Got that break of the previous candle right here at 10:07, and it shot up to 10:37. I actually believe it was 10:39 I saw, but that was here, and I sold it at 10:37. That's right, I top ticked it basically. Uh, I just hit the sell button, sold it up here. It was a great way to start the day of trading. Basically up 37 cents on 2,000 shares, first trade out of the gate. Second trade I made was news related. Geo Investing has been the firm that's been pumping or dropping a lot of stocks recently. They're the ones that have been the trendsetter, so to speak. And news came out that they got rid of their short position in MGT, and that came out at 9:45-ish, right around here, and that's why you see this kind of run up here. And I was just kind of playing that run up. I heard the news that they got rid of their short position, so I went long, and I went long at 670, which of course was like right up here, and it just started selling off. So I just bailed out. 662, loss of 7, 2,000 shares, whatever. It didn't work out. LEDS had a big day yesterday, so a lot of people are going to watch that. Here's yesterday's candle. This is today's. So I was watching this one. It started hitting the high of day scanner, and when this one can get going, it can get going. So what I was doing is I was playing the break of the previous day's high. Previous day's high was 780 right here. So as the volume's coming in, as it's going up, I am going to play the break of 780, or the anticipation of the break of 780. So as it's going up, I buy at 774 right down here. It breaks 780, continues to run past 8. When I saw that it had a hard time getting over 8, it cracked 8 and came right back down. It's a bearish sign to me. So I actually ended up just selling at 793 for a 19-cent win and moved on. And sure enough, the rest of the day, it just sold off. I was looking for a 5-minute candle over candle here, but as soon as you like retrace completely, it's you're no longer looking for candle over candle. You want it to retrace like up here and then go candle over candle and go back up. If it goes pop and then drops all the way back, I mean, look at this, all the way back down negative, just forget going long at that point. So that was my third trade of the day. Did well on that one. GNCA was not a typical trade I do, but occasionally I'll do these daily breakouts. GNCA, I was in the chat room. One of the swing traders there said, check out GNCA. I checked that out. I like what I saw. What you see on the daily here is you have a peak here, and a peak here. This one is at basically 550. This one is at 560 roughly, and this one's at 566. So After that, there's really no resistance levels if you look back on the daily. I mean, there's just nothing above it until you get way back here and in May. So these are the these are near-term resistance levels. So if they break, I'm anticipating volume come in and it would go up higher. Also, they have a catalyst this month, so a news-oriented event. So more people are probably going to pile in as that goes on. So I'm watching it, and I had an alert on my setup here for if the stock got over 560 to ring bells in my ears, and sure enough, it did. So I went long 563, 564, right in here. And as soon as I got in, it dropped really quick, but it popped right up real quick. So it started continuing up, and I actually alerted this one on Stock Twits that it could be a swing trade, and a lot of people made money on it. And it ended up getting up to like 779, but I sold at 569 just because I'm not a swing trader. I like to get my profits and get out, and this is going to be a slower moving stock, and I just I don't have the patience for it. So I just take my wins and move on. Actually, no, wait. I sold at 669 half there, and I'm sorry, 569 and 573. So basically a 571 average. XCNE, this one was just hitting the high of day scanner. It's a low float stock. I immediately got in right away. It was only up like 15 cents at the time. I only got filled for 342 shares. So when I saw I only got filled for that, I sold them immediately. I got in at 809, sold at 815 for a positive, 6 cents, but it's on 350 shares, so it's not going to do me much good. Barely enough to cover commission, so I just kind of bailed on that one. So XTLB, this one was hitting the scanners. It had news out about a patent win. Um, I got long at 103 as it's breaking $1, and I was just trying to ride the momentum for a few cents. That's all I was trying to do. This is not going to be a home run hit. Usually penny plays are not going to be home runs unless it's really outrageously good news. But just winning a patent is not going to move a stock for long. So I got in at 103, got out at 107. 4 cents, 2,000 shares, $80. So NAV Navistar had a huge day yesterday, went as high as 23.45, but it sold off most of the day, and I'm kind of anticipating the selling continue. As I was looking at this, I was thinking, okay, we're probably gonna get more selling today because this is a very bearish candle in the daily here, and it's got a huge gap that it needs to cover. I mean, just think of all these people that are up here that have been holding for a long time. They're going to sell because they want to take their profits. And as they sell, the stock price is going to go down. You're not going to find too many people that want to buy it up here after it's moved basically $10 already. So a lot of people, if they're going to be buyers, are going to wait for it to pull back. So the only people that are going to be moving the stock are sellers and shorts. So sure enough, sold, and today's selling continued. And I was watching this around the whole dollar mark again. So right around here is when I started to go short. I was looking for the break of 19. It dropped here. It kind of consolidated. The bulls had plenty of time to bring it back up if it was going to go up, and it didn't. So I started shorting at 1908, and it broke through. It broke through 19, and I ended up covering basically right at 19. But I mean, as you can see, it just continued to drop. But I was happy with basically 8 cents there, $160. So SGMS, I went long earlier, but this time I went short. I was watching for the candle under candle here on the 5-minute, and you have kind of this, run up, it sold off, popped up again, sold off, popped up again, and these pops aren't really getting high of day anymore. In fact, they're popping, but they're coming right back down, and then you're doing candle under candle. And this was kind of a bigger level right through here because we hadn't had any lows below 1060 there. So I was going to play that, or not 1060, 1040, basically 1038. So I was going to play that as soon as it broke this level. As I can see, this is a supporting level right through here. You've got support, 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 all kind of in this level. So I picked a number. It was basically next time it goes through 1040, I was going to go short. And sure enough, I did. I got short a position at 1038 inside of this 5-minute candle here. And as you can see, it dropped all the way down to 1022, continued going, almost down to $10, but I covered up for 10 cents at 1028 for 200 bucks. So RTRX, this one, I was looking at the 5-minute, 1-minute chart. Here we are right here in the time frame that I bought it. Going candle over candle over candle over candle, strong green move. And I was watching the 1 minute. We had cracked 23.50. This is a $half area, and it came. I think we cracked it. Did we crack it? Yeah. All right, we cracked it right there, and it was coming back down. And I was thinking, okay, the second move through 23.50 is going to break it, and we're going to go up towards high of day again. But that's just not what happened. I got in at 23.44, somewhere in here, and it just ended up selling off, and I got out 23.32, which is like right in this area. So I took the loss. I didn't want, this was already crazy up. It's up $5 a day still, and that's at $21, and it was over at 23 here. So it was up basically $7 in a day at the time. So selling had to happen, I assumed. As you can see, the daily, it went all the way to 23.40 area, and it's been selling off the rest of the day, and I didn't want to get caught in that. So, I played it pretty tight. I took the loss, moved on, loss of 12 cents there, 240 bucks. So SGY was one that I was watching because of one of the news services that I subscribe to mentioned it. And I know that the news service that I subscribe to has hundreds of followers. And if they're all watching the same thing because of the news service, then I'm going to watch it because those hundreds of people can move a stock. So the news service alerted that you might want to watch over 11.95 for the break at 12. And I know SGY can just make humongous moves in a day. So this was one that when they alerted it, I took seriously. It's made huge moves in the past, from $9 to $12.40 to $3 moves in a day consistently over and over again. So I was watching this one. I ended up watching that level that they talked about, and I went long at 11.93. It popped up. I didn't think it had the momentum to keep going. I didn't want to get just trashed on this. So I ended up selling for basically 3-cent win, but it did continue going all the way to 12.15, and then I was hoping for the break of 12, that whole dollar. I just didn't have the patience to wait it out. But I take my win, move on. All right, so then we got into the part of the day that I was really anticipating, and this is the Apple event. Apple, if you don't know who Apple is, you've been living under some kind of rock, but Apple had an event today talking about their newest iPhone release and newest smartwatch release. And whenever Apple mentions a company that they're working with or collaborating with, the stock usually moves. Even if there's rumors that Apple's working with a certain company, that stock usually moves. So I'm watching Apple online, listening to the news service. I find out that Benzinga, this news service that I keep pumping to you all, is basically reporting the news about 10 seconds faster than what I'm watching live streaming. So I don't know why. They might be on a different device that's just streaming it faster than when I was able to get it. So I was listening to Benzinga and watching at the same time. So one of the first things Apple talks about is having Mario, a new Mario game on the iPhone. Whoop-de-doo, right? Well, it might not sound like a huge deal, but this stock, and I knew it would, just exploded. This is the Nintendo ticker symbol. It went from $30 all the way to $36.55. I mean, look at this. There's no volume during the day, right? Nothing. And all of a sudden, one mention from Apple, and it just goes boom, it just explodes up. And it's still up there right now. But it just exploded up. And I played this. I actually got in at $30.27 right here. This is where I bought it, okay? I noticed the fill was very slow. I don't know what exchange Nintendo trades on. You can see the ticker you can see the ticker is a little weird, the symbol is a little weird, but it was a really slow fill, and I only got 700 shares when it was at 30.27. I had an order in for 30.50, and I was still only able to get 300 shares. So I got my 700 shares. So I got 700 shares, and it was just so slow, and I just didn't know why. I wasn't comfortable holding it longer than that. I just like to get out when just things seem weird or super slow for some strange reason. So I got out at 30.40 for a win of 13 cents on 700 shares. I would have liked to have a full position. I would have liked to have 2,000 shares like I put in because I knew it was going to do one of these moves. But when something just ain't right, the fill is just super slow. I started seeing on the L2, this is the L2 over here, by the way. I started seeing like $30.50 over here, but the ask was $30.40. So it was just like, this is wonky, and I don't know what's up. I don't feel comfortable with it. I got out. Do I feel bad that I missed this move? Absolutely not. I did not feel comfortable. These moves happen all the time, every day almost. Yes, I got in at the very beginning of it. It would have been nice to, hold $5 on 2,000 shares. That would have been great, but it just did not happen. And I'm okay with it. 13 cents, 700 shares, done. So HIV was another one that Benzinga reported was mentioned at the Apple event. And as you can see, this is where the mention happened. Benzinga reported it. It goes from no volume on the day to 47,000 in 1 minute, 206,000 in this minute, 122,000 in this minute. And then it kind of just sells out from there. So when I heard that HIVE was mentioned, I immediately put in the ticker symbol, hit the buy button, and it went from 673 where I got in, which is up here, and I sold basically 20 seconds later for 684 for basically 11 cents. I was hoping to break the $7 mark. It was getting up there. It hit 692, but as it started coming back down, I just sold because I didn't hear it in my ear. I don't know where this news came from because I was watching the stream and Benzinga was 10 seconds ahead of the stream, but I never heard the stream say it even 10 seconds later. So I was like, I don't know where he got the news from, so I'm out. So I was watching the Apple event. They're talking about the Apple Watch, and it was very evident that they are gearing this next version of the Apple Watch towards the athlete, towards the person that's doing, cardiovascular workouts and weightlifting and all that jazz. And it just sounded like a Fitbit competitor. I mean, it was just like, this is doing so much more than what a Fitbit can do. And yes, it's, an Apple specific product, and the range of audience isn't going to be that big, but it's still the Apple audience. They're still going to buy it. And I'm like, this is sounding like a hit to Fitbit. So I went short Fitbit as it was hitting the lows of the day. I went short at $14.95 right through here. And as you can see, other people have the same idea. And then I was like, this is crazy. It's going back up. I mean, this is Apple saying that they have a product that is straight competing with Fitbit. And it came back up through $5 or $15, and I was just like, I'm out. I don't care that much. My play didn't work out. Well, sure enough, as soon as it cracked 15, squeezed me out, it did end up dropping from there, and it went all the way down to 14.73, and I would have made a nice win, but I just wasn't comfortable with it coming back up through this high right here. When there's a Apple competitor now against it, I just didn't feel comfortable. I felt like this was too strong of a move. But it head faked me, and it did end up going the way I thought it would. So I took the 5 cent loss, $100, moved on. So XON got halted for news. This was a news play that I did while I was listening to the Apple conference online. So XON was halted for news. The news comes out that, I'll show you the news. So the news came out that the Florida House members voted to declare a state of emergency or request emergency aid or something along those lines for the fight against the Zika virus, and they mentioned this specific drug that this company owns to fight Zika. So when it opened back up, I was watching this. So when it opened back up, it had this huge pop out of the gate. This 5 minute chart, huge pop out of the gate. It sold off, came back down, consolidated a little bit here, and then I ended up going long as I felt like it was curling back up, and I went long at 27.64. And what I was waiting for is the break of 50 again, the 27.50 mark. So right in here is when I went long, and I was also thinking, okay, if this breaks, it's going to run. This is the previous high right here. So it's coming up, coming up, coming up, breaks it. Okay, we break 50, which is good, continues the momentum past the current high, which is even better. Goes all the way up here to 28.26, but that's not where I sold. I sold down here, 27.60. Got my 14-cent win on 2,000 shares, $280. Happy for the win. Moved on. This was a news play that happened in my ear from Benzinga. Again, $280 right there. It's just, it pays for itself. I can't pump it enough. Benzinga, Benzinga, Benzinga. You all need to at least try it for a month and see if I'm crazy. See if it doesn't work for you. Use the coupon code that's down in the description. Stock Jock at checkout. You get 30% off in any subscription. All right, so I was watching the Apple event, and guess what? Apple is going to partner with Nike for basically a Nike version of the Apple Watch, which is now a direct competitor to Fitbit. And I think this is when Fitbits really started dropping. But anyway, once I heard Nike, I put I knew the ticker signal. I put NKE in over here. I came over to their ticker, bought 2,000 shares. At that time, it was 37.46, which was right here, which is great because this is kind of where the movement of the day was, and volume started coming in. Great, we cracked that 50 mark, that $half mark, continued up, and I sold into this move at 57.60. It went all the way to 57.70, but I didn't care. I just wanted to get my quick. Oh no, I sold at 57.53 as we cracked the $half mark for a 7-cent win, $140. Just scalping the move. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to hit the home runs. Just scalping the move. And every other stock that was mentioned at this conference went up. Those were Nintendo, that was HIVE, and now Nike. Every stock that was mentioned ran up in some form or degree, and I made money off it. I went 3 for 3 at the Apple conference plays. That put me up 19.17 on the day. Definitely a happy day for me. And I can just relax. I don't really feel pressure to do anything else. It's 3:33. I'm not really watching anything in particular right now. Nike seems pretty strong. It's going Hive Day still. Maybe a candle over candle play. Nintendo, it's just so extended. Now there's reports out. People are saying this is way overdone. It's just, I can sit back, relax, and I don't feel I have to do anything else unless some news comes out that's just crazy good. Then I'll play it. But until then, I think I'll be just done for the day. Guys, if you have any questions about my trading style, you can find me on Google Hangouts. I'm there at the name of Stock Jock AT. You can find me on there. I know a few of you that have already asked me questions, and I appreciate that, and I hope I helped you out make some money. Find me on Twitter, Stock Jock AT. And you can also find me in the chat rooms that I'm in. Link is down in the description. And again, I'm going to pump you Benzinga one more time. Use that coupon code at checkout for 30% off. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.